Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Stone Genius. Actually, this is another episode of Catherine and the Stone Genius. Hey Catherine.
Amen. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh look, we have music and the audience still here.
Well, they always clap for me.
I know they do.
I wish they would clap a little bit louder, though.
They could, but I didn't.
It's weird how it's always like the same level of enthusiasm coming from them.
It is.
How do they do that?
It's amazing.
They're robots.
I should do that. I could probably download different applause and things. I mean, I did sounds. I'm sure I could do that. So it sounds
Just
different.
like
You're
you
right.
found multiple types of crickets.
I think that they're the same crickets. I really do. I think you're the only one that thinks they're different. Okay, so on today's episode, I am really excited because I'm going to tell everyone this show would not exist if it were not for me crossing paths on the high ocean, the high seas, I guess would be. This show wouldn't even exist. So I'm going to welcome to the show Tiiiim McCurry. Hey, Tim, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
So I need to explain to everyone why this show wouldn't exist. Is the first time that I tried a cannabis-infused product. It was, God, what was it called? A Chiba Chew is what it was. And the very first time I tried that, we were visiting you and your family in Colorado where it was legal. So I need to say thank you to you and your for allowing me to do this. Do you remember that?
Well, we're glad you did it. Absolutely.
It was so funny because one of our children was telling me today they were so mad that we had all gone to dinner and then the adults, and by adults, I mean, we were all adults, but I was the one that spoke up. And I was like, we're going to a dispensary. You kids need to go to the mall. So I got to relive that story and the tragedy that my child had to live at the mall while I was out doing drugs for the first time.
I haven't heard of it.
I remember that
Chupa
very
Chew
well.
or whatever that is.
A Chiba Chew was a thing.
Chiba Chew?
So I remember when we went. It was called. It doesn't matter what it's called. It was in Lyons, Colorado. I do remember that. I still get emails from him. And the guy, we walked in. It was so weird because I had never done this before. I had never been to a dispensary. I always thought that if I ever bought drugs, it would be in an alley somewhere. And I walk in and the guy goes, "How can I help you?" And he literally talked like that.
They
and I
all
was
do.
like.
But they all know a shit ton about what
They
they're
do.
selling.
But the funny thing was I said, well, I have arthritis. And he goes, dude, it's legal here. And it was just.
Arthritis?
I should have said that. That would have been funny. Oh, man. Dang it. So, but yeah, so then we went to, after that, we went to bingo, which was very fun. So,
I had
Did
to be
Tim
a
do bingo?
manager at bingo.
what's that?
I was managing bingo.
That's right, you were. Was it?
On-
And it was like
For high
late
school.
night bingo. Like this was not like, oh, you're going to bingo mid-after. I don't know what time bingo generally
It
is.
wasn't old lady bingo, is what you're saying.
I don't know, Tim.
oh no, there were old ladies.
Oh, there were?
Yes, it was. I think it was the 10 o'clock session, if I remember correctly. And
Wow,
I
those are
managed
some
the bingo,
hardcore
and you
old
guys
ladies.
played. Yes.
So what were you doing that? Why? Because I don't remember. Was it a fundraiser for? Were you connected to that? That
It
seems.
was a fundraiser. I actually managed. I had a bingo license to manage it for Cameron's High School.
A license?
You have to have a license to do that.
You had to take a test to get this license. It cost $1 at the time.
Hold on.
That is incredible.
So now I'm going to change. I used to spout that I thought people needed to get a license to have children. And I would always say, if you have to have a license to cut someone's hair, you should have to have a license for children. Now I'm going to change that. So I'm going to say, if you have to have a license to do bingo, so you had to have a license to manage bingo. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh my gosh. I've never even heard of such a thing. And you literally paid $1 for that license.
Is it like ethical
it was-
questions or just like running the game. You just have to know how to do
You
it.
know, to be completely honest, I don't remember what the test was because it was. I mean, that was what, Rodney, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
8 years ago?
2000. Yeah. It was a long time ago.
That's not too long to
was-
remember.
It is
Test
when
like
when you're our age.
It seems like
When
an
you're over
unforgettable
50.
thing.
Yeah. When you're over 50. I get it. You're
Tim, you're not over 50, are you, Tim?
so I guess I should back up a little more. So now people know that I was with you when I was introduced to the devil's lettuce. But the way that we met was my parents.
Wait, that was the first time you smoked?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even smoke. I did
Just
edibles.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
That
it
was the first time you potted.
Sure. That was the first time I potted.
Okay.
I'm is that a thing? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm over
that's-
50.
I think that's the under 50 term for it.
You're lying. You're so lying. I'm glad you're here because if you weren't here, I wouldn't know that you're lying. But looking at your face, I can tell that you're lying. That is not an under 50 term. So, but yeah, that was the first time. So the way that we met was actually, I think, through my sister. So my parents took my family, me, my wife, our 2 children, and my sister on a cruise to Hawaii. And Tim and his family was there. So we are a very tall family. Tim's family is very tall. We have 2 girls. They had 2 boys. So it's just like, hey, look. And we would see them all the time. And I think my sister was the first. I think we caught my sister talking to you all at a bar one night.
I think so. I think that's what it was, talking with Britt, doing that. And yeah, we all met up and everybody noticed Cameron because his head barely fit under the doorway.
Yes. It was so.
How tall is Cameron?
At that point, he was about 6'7".
Yeah.
I think
At
he's
what age?
6'8", 6'9" now.
14 or something.
Oh, wow.
No, 16.
16 at that time.
Still, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been following Cameron on his adventures lately. And I got to tell you, Tim, the only thing, he has 2 options. Darth Vader or Chewbacca. You can't be 6'8" or 6'9" and be anything other than those 2 characters.
But I think he wants to be a Jedi of some sort.
He does, but he's not going to fit in any of the, I'm not even a Star Wars guy, and it's 6'8", 6'9". You're not fitting in any of those aircraft.
He could invent a new
That's true.
character.
No, they don't need to invent a new character, Catherine.
Yeah,
it's
they
called
do, 'cause
it's
it's
called
getting
Chewbacca.
kind of old.
No, it's called Chewbacca or Darth Vader. Everyone else was of average height.
So you met them on a cruise ship.
Yes. Yeah. And then we kept in touch, and then we went out and saw them. I tried the devil's lettuce, and for me, it has spiraled not out of control, not in control. It's just spiraled over the last few years. So, but no, I mean, it's nice. We saw them pre-pandemic. Bobby and I went in the summertime out to Denver, and Tim and his wife. Oh, are you kidding me right now?
Is that your pot reminder?
Oh no!
To get
Hold on.
potted?
I think that was Tim calling me back in.
Oh, did we drop him?
I know. I hope that I can hear him now.
Are you there?
Yeah. Oh my
You there,
gosh.
Rod?
Yeah.
It just dropped all of a sudden.
Okay.
Shoot, he missed my
Oh.
really good joke I just made.
It wasn't that great.
They're all good, Catherine.
His
You know,
phone his
please
phone
don't.
started ringing, and I said, "Is that your pot alarm to get potted?"
It should be. Is that? I'm not kidding. I don't want to look like an idiot. Is that really a term?
Yeah, man, I was potted last week.
Okay.
No,
It's
it's not real.
Well, I don't want to use
It
it.
can be now.
You should use it.
I
just
should be.
because it's cool to be different, you know.
Yeah, but not always cool.
Look how much
to be
attention
different.
I just got from calling it potted.
You've got it. You've got something. That is for sure. Yep.
Tim agrees.
He does. So that's how. And then we went out there. We hung out with their family, and then we were there a few summers ago. Denver is so nice in the
But
summertime.
you're forgetting that Cameron came out.
Oh, that's
for
right. for Morgan's prom. Yes. That was funny. That was very tough for them because he was 6'7" 6'8" at that. I think at least 6'7" at that time, and then Morgan's 5'11" and wearing huge heels. I don't know, 4-inch heels.
She was 5'11" already at that time too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was funny in the pictures because they would always be in the middle. Cam and Mo would be in the middle, and so it'd be all these short people, and then right up at the middle. So, but it was So they came out for that. That was a good time. It's always been a good time with you all, though. Hold on, I got applause for that. Now, hey, I got to ask you, since you're on the other end, can you hear the applause?
I can. I could hear the intro music and.
Oh, okay. See, I'd mentioned.
I'm curious if I can hear Catherine's voice.
Oh, hold
I
on.
need to hear the voice.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, so that's the weird
Yeah.
thing. His voice doesn't change. It's just ours.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's fun for us. Although you get you get a potty mouth when I use this thing. I got so
That's-
fucking potted last week. Oh my gosh, I'm turning this off.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you got to experience that live, Tim, in real time.
That's great.
Okay, so
That's awesome.
so we've kind of built where you and I, where we met, where we came. Catherine, do you have any questions? Do Tim and I need to
Yes.
catch you up? Okay.
did Cameron and Morgan lose their virginity to each other at prom?
Oh my God. Actually, I don't.
Hell no.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that answer. I don't know. I don't ask those questions.
Well,
I think
Tim
they came
does.
home. I think that it was. I mean.
they could have had sex in a hallway. I mean,
Okay, when you're sick. Okay, here's the thing, Catherine. Ye of average. Well, you're above average height, but not greatly above average height.
a hallway would be a perfectly fine.
Not when you're six.
place.
So when you're 6'7", 6'8".
You can't do it in a car. You can't do it in.
You
some
know that
other places, but,
hallways
like,
they have
hallways are-
people and stuff.
Not necessarily. Not at a school on prom night. Everyone's in the place, in the thing.
Or maybe at your school, they're all out in the hallway having sex.
A few of them are.
Yeah, see?
Oh my gosh! So I'm going to say that no. That's
I wasn't one of them, just to clarify.
So I ask you a question. If there's anything you need that Tim or I need to fill in so that you know the background, and your question
I
is,
thought it
did
was an
our-
important question. People might be wondering whatever happened with Cameron and Morgan.
You know what? I can only speak for geniuses
Sounds
and
like such a
stoners.
Cinderella story. We needed to know, if anything
No, but they would have tall children.
grew, they would.
Actually, they wouldn't.
They would.
They would be
would
no.
probably be
They would be
short.
cursed. We would be like, oh, they're going to be so tall, and then they wouldn't be. And I have shows where I mention some of my feelings for people that are extremely short, way under average. So that's
So
how I would be
much time
cursed
would
like
you
that.
say after you guys ran into each other at the bar, the families, whatever, then how much time, like how many days left were there in your cruise trip, and how much time did you guys spend together after that?
I don't know. Do you remember? It was a few days. I know. I think it was
Then
on the
after
way
that,
back.
was it like, ooh, meet you guys for
It was
breakfast
on,
tomorrow?
it was on
Lunch,
definitely
dinner?
on the way back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we were. We were like, oh, what time? What? Because they had all these different dining things. Oh, what time are you guys dining? And it'd be like, so yes,
Yep.
we became quick besties on
So
there.
like in girls hockey or BFFs, like
Yeah.
right away.
And then they were having some
yeah.
trouble with the pools. So on the cruise ship, so like they can actually dump a pool and then refill it like very quickly. And there was something going on with the heaters. So the actual pools there felt like saunas. And I personally love
Oh, I
that.
love that.
Oh,
was
so
I would
nice.
have
awesome.
loved that.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, they probably weren't the cleanest because that's not gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
It would have been fun to
There
meet
wasn't
them.
anybody, there wasn't anybody in it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And then every time we've been on a cruise, when we see the hot tub, someone throws up in the hot tub.
I've never been on a cruise, so I don't know how that goes.
Tim, have you I know that you've been on cruises since that cruise. Are you cruise people now, or has cruising itself or the pandemic changed any of that for you?
Or was meeting
We haven't done
Rodney and his
any
family
cruises.
enough?
That was enough. There you go. No more cruises ever again.
Yeah.
I think we did one or two others after that. We haven't done a lot. I mean, the last couple of years, obviously running the business, but the only trips Britt and I have done, we've been to Hawaii a couple times, and that's it. Just on regular flights.
Right. Yeah, I think you guys left out of Texas or something on one of your cruises, because we were like, oh, that sounds fun. Because, yeah.
Was that a Caribbean cruise then, or?
It was. We did. I believe that was to Cozumel, to
Belize.
Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica. Ooh.
Belize. We did weekend Belize.
Oh,
All
cool.
of those, yeah.
Now, did you go on that one with your have you gone on all the cruises with your extended family? Because the cruise that we met you, I think there was quite a few extended, just like in our family. I think you all had quite a few extended members with you as well, didn't you?
We did. It was just it was my mom and us and my sister and her family.
Okay.
Which that's typically who would go. Is just that group. We've had other family come along, or other relatives tag along on them.
Yeah, I think I'm done cruising, especially after the pandemic. We've been on 2 cruises, and both of them I got sick on. And I was just like, and that was pre-pandemic. So
sick like in the middle of it, or sick at the end of it?
I got strep throat on both times I went.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that I knew on the cruise that we went when we met Tim was over Christmas and New Year's. And it was New Year's Eve, and I don't think I'd been feeling particularly well, but at midnight we went to drink champagne, and it felt like I was drinking lava. I mean, it just, my throat, and I was like, yeah. And I remember going down to the, whatever they call it, and they go, yeah, you look a little streppy, and gave me some stuff. But yeah, I don't really have a desire to go back to cruising. But that being said, if I wouldn't have gone on that cruise, I wouldn't have met Tim and his wonderful family, and I wouldn't have become a stoner. So I guess I should be happy for the cruises I've been on.
I agree.
Okay.
There you go.
It's like anything to say about that, Tim?
He's like, okay, so I do want to talk to you about your business as well, because this is something that I'm interested in. So you are and feel free to correct me if I say any of this wrong. You are a franchise owner of 2 Teriyaki Madness locations, one in Firestone, Colorado, and one in Longmont, Colorado. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So I want to back up a little, because you and I mean, you're a very personable guy, and I believe that you were in sales prior to getting into this, or something in management. So what led you from your previous career? Like, what was that, and what led you to go, oh, I want to open a restaurant?
I've been in and out of the automotive industry for different roles, everything from sales to GM to the finance side. And the automotive industry is just, it's cutthroat. You could be a star one month, and then the next month you worry if you have a job. So Britt and I worked real hard for a couple of years, and she looked at me one January. She goes, it's time to follow your dream. And my dream was to always have a restaurant. Love to cook. I've always loved that, and wanted to do something like that. And she said at the time, I knew what I wanted to do. We applied, went through the process, and there you go. I'm now a restaurant owner, working 100 and some hours a week in the very beginning.
So
how did you land on the Teriyaki Madness theme?
Honestly, it's the food. I had been buying it for a couple of my dealerships that I would go see, and I love the food. And when Britt said it was time to look at it, what would you want to do? And I said, I know exactly what brand I want to look into. And we looked into it. It was reasonable, affordable, a great plan, and we ran with it. And it's a family thing. I run it, but my sister and I co-own it.
Okay. So when you say you applied, was that just for financing for it or just as a franchise owner? What do you mean by
No,
that?
so anytime you go to buy a franchise, you put in an inquiry and then you go through basically an application process to see if you fit their culture.
Okay.
The whole thing. If you work with them, you like what they show you, the numbers they show you, and that goes for any franchise that you have to apply for and basically buy your licenses. So we purchased the 3 licenses when we did it, and
Was it like
I have
$1
a
to do
third
that?
location. Yeah, no,
A little
it
more
is. I
stringent than your
believe it's
bingo
still the same
license.
price. Yes, it was a little more than the bingo license.
So when you went to you approached your sister about this. So did you have any experience in the restaurant industry, like through high school or college or anything? Did you had any experience working within the industry at all?
Sure, if you want to call it experience working when you're 16 to 17, 18 years old in high school, experience at a Subway. That's it. I made
Well,
sandwiches
kind of,
back
yeah.
But
in the late 90s.
did you did that excite you? I mean, did you think, because I think Subways are franchise owned, so even as a young adult then, did you recognize, oh, this wouldn't be a bad path maybe? Or was that not even
No,
on your
I
radar?
did. I did. It wasn't even on my. I mean, I can remember going to my mom back when I was, 16 years old, saying, "Hey, we should look at doing this Subway thing." I mean, there were like, at the time then, I believe the licenses were like $10,000, $20,000
Right.
at the most. They were at the time. It's a lot of money. It's probably equivalent to about the same now, but it was like something that I thought we should do. And obviously, at 16, I couldn't be running a restaurant. I
Right.
barely got out of, I was still in high school. And I think Catherine was what, maybe 6?
So and Catherine's
What
your
year was
sister.
that?
I would have been 88.
Wow,
So
88.
you
So
were 4.
And this Catherine would have been 2 then.
no, you would. Don't. I hate. Why do you do that? So annoying. And she points out how much younger she is than everyone. So when you approached your sister about this, was she? How did she respond when you first said, "Hey, I want to open a franchise and I want to do this with you"? What was that response?
She's like, "You're crazy, but okay, let's." And I talked about being a business, owning our own business as a family and building a legacy for the family.
Right.
And that was just something I've talked about for years of, probably the last 7 to 10 years of how we could build it for the family. And I told her I sent her to try the food. She fell in love with the food the way I did and said, "Yeah, I can get behind this."
So let me.
So she did.
So you mentioned the family. So did you talk to your family? Did you talk to your boys at all and say, "Hey, we're thinking about this"? Did you guys have a conversation before doing this with your kids?
We did a little bit, not so much with Cameron because he was off at college.
Okay.
And really, I had no intention of having Cameron come in to this for a while because he was off at school. But Dylan, who'd worked in another fast casual, is called Zoop at the time. It's a little soup and sandwich shop that's a franchise. I told him, he's like, "Yeah, this sounds great." He was 16 when we did it, and I had every intention of building this with him in the beginning. And Cameron, with the pandemic, when he came back after the pandemic, he didn't go back to college, and he took it over and he's running the store, running one of the top stores in the country.
Yeah. And playing Jedi. Yeah. So, man, I follow him. That's another time. I'll talk to him about that because I can't even wrap my head around any of that. So that's another time for another podcast. So, with your experience that you lack, you decide to open a restaurant. you had had Teriyaki Madness before. Was it available in your what was the closest Teriyaki Madness to where you were residing at that time?
South of Denver. So down in it's called the Denver Tech Center area. So it was about,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, about a 40-minute drive south of us.
Okay. So are they in plentiful supply? Because it was funny until you opened, and maybe we didn't have them here in Kansas City, but until you opened yours, I had never heard of Teriyaki Madness. But now I'll be driving down the street and I'll be like, oh, look, there's a Teriyaki Madness that I just saw one last week on Metcalf. I
Here?
hadn't seen. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. See, Catherine didn't even know
Nope.
this.
I had no idea I could go taste this Teriyaki Madness.
Okay, hold on.
They're definitely growing.
I want to
Go
ask
ahead.
this question on the food. And I should know this, but I have a very reserved palate. It is meat and potatoes. So that being said, how would you describe Teriyaki Madness? What type of food would that be considered?
So it's actually called Seattle style teriyaki.
Seattle style
It's a
teriyaki.
bowl. It's a bowl. Half of it's going to be a rice or a noodle.
Okay.
Fried rice, white rice, brown rice, noodles, all that. The other half is a veggie mix, which is green, so you won't eat it.
Exactly.
And then we put the meat on the top. So it's got the proteins, the chicken, the steak, spicy, teriyaki flavor. There's fried chicken. It's called katsu chicken. So there's different ones. Orange chicken.
Are you looking at their menu right now?
I looked them up on Google. So Teriyaki Madness is literally located right over there on Metcalf and
Yeah.
100.
I didn't know it was there. I
I
mean,
had no idea.
If
And the funny thing is, I know everything else that's right there,
it has to
but
be
I
new.
didn't know there was so there's like Walmart, Jack in the Box, Buffalo Wild Wings, Touche,
Yeah. And now Teriyaki
Fox and
Madness.
Hound, like that seasonal
Right.
decor place.
I know.
Fuck
So
is Teriyaki
how
Madness?
rapidly
And it says Asian fusion restaurant.
So how quickly is Teriyaki Madness as a company growing? How many stores do you even know? Do you keep up with that? I mean, is that competition for you, or is that just knowledge that you want to know? I don't know anything about franchise.
I actually sit on their advisory council. So even new to the business and new to doing all this, I've gotten very involved with it.
Right.
Talking to new franchisees, interviewing new franchisees, telling them about the business, and doing that. But they started believe it or not, they started in Las Vegas. There's, I believe, 17 stores in the Vegas market, and that's where they got going. These guys, they sold the rights to the franchise to someone, believe it or not, out of Denver. He's a great CEO. His name's Michael Hayes. Bought it, and they're just Michael and his partner Aaron are just exploding this. I think we are the number one growing franchise in the nation. I believe we're at 127 locations. This next year, we should open probably another 60.
And so, and they're
70
now
or more.
based out of Denver.
They are.
Wow.
Headquarters down in Denver.
So
Okay, here's the real deal. Katsu chicken is amazing.
okay.
And I didn't know I could get it somewhere here so easily.
Yep. See, there
And
you
we make
go.
all of our sauces in house.
Holy
It
moly.
would be-
People go to Teriyaki Madness at 105th and Metcalf.
That doesn't that helps Teriyaki Madness, so we'll give them a big shout out. But also, if you're in the North Denver area, is that where Longmont and Firestone be considered the North Denver area?
Denver.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you need to go visit them there. So did you have, while you were getting this ready, so you're formulating your plan, your business plan, you're going through the process of becoming a franchisee, did you have negative Nellies that you had to deal with? And what were they? What were they negative because, of did you have anyone negative? And I can't even think why they would be negative, but did you have anyone negative about you wanting to do this? Like leaving the traditional workforce to be your own boss?
Not in my family and not in my direct support group. Through everybody, they were incredibly encouraging. Even people that my wife works with and that knew about it were super encouraging. The community around here, Firestone's a small, Frederick Firestone, Dacono, the towns here are small but super supportive, excited. It was all positive in my thing. It's the only part that was scary is we opened 2 weeks before the world shut down.
And that was going to be my next. I was going to have you explain, right? Because we were so excited for that. And I remember, because it was February of 2020, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So, because we had talked about coming out. Oh, actually, we were. I think we were. That's right. We were going to come out for Valentine's Day. The Lightning were playing the Avalanche like on the 15th of February that year. And I swear to this day that I had COVID because I felt like I had been run over by a truck. I was so sick I couldn't go to a state where weed is legal to watch the hockey team I love. I was too sick to do that. So I knew I was sick. But yeah, so I think that was the same time because I know that you were getting ready to do your soft open, your grand opening about that time because you were not available for us.
Correct. We opened February 20. We started training February 17th.
Yeah.
Is when everything kicked off at the store, and yeah, the world shut down and scared us to death. But I mean, we took off. I mean, fortunately, we are in a county that is very oil and gas centered.
Right.
Very, and the way they treated the businesses was, it's your business. You need to make decisions. They weren't making decisions for us.
Right.
Or anything like that. So we did what we needed to do. We slowed down a little bit. Back up when we opened, we opened up to record business in this community. Just, it was unbelievable, the support and everybody who came out. We slowed a little bit for the first couple weeks when the pandemic hit, but not really slowed because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. So for me to shift and shut down my dining room and just go to carry out and take out only was like, okay, this is what you do for business.
Right.
I had no idea. I had no decision. So that's what we did, and it went through the roof. It was unbelievable.
So did you have any period where you all had to shut down completely?
No, I never shut my doors in Firestone. Not
Wow.
once.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean in hindsight, it's weird, but I mean, I think they should have let people make their own decisions kind of on that. And so and it's amazing that you were able to do that because I would have been, I mean, the fear of opening an own business. And then, I mean, that's why I don't do this full time. I mean, because
there probably wasn't much of a way for you to back out of where you were at.
Yeah.
At that point, things didn't shut down here in Kansas City until March. I think it was the second weekend of March because it was the college basketball stuff was going to have this event down at the T-Mobile Center downtown that weekend, and it got shut. And as soon as that got shut down, I was like, "Oh shit!" And then everything shut down after that.
Yeah.
So if you were only a month before that, I mean, there was no way that you would have really realized what was happening, and two, even if you did, you probably wouldn't have been able to just put the brakes on all of it.
Right. No. Yeah. There was no way to stop the process, and you go and you got rent coming, you got everything else going, so it's go all the way. I mean, in the beginning, I worked 7 days a week. I was working, my wife and I figured it out, about 145 hours a week.
Did you open both locations at the same time, or did you stagger the openings?
We opened Firestone in February of 2020, and we opened up because we had such a banner year, we were able to make the move, and business was shutting down, so we were able to grab a space over in Longmont, and we opened that one in July of 21.
Yeah. So do you anticipate, now you said something about, I think, 3 licenses. Is that correct? Does that mean you could open up a 3rd location if you wanted?
I need to open up a 3rd one, according to my contract, within 5 years of opening the 1st.
Oh, okay.
So we're starting to look for next year to open a 3rd.
You are, and are you geographically kind of, so do you purchase like a geographic location, like no one else, or could you have someone else buy a franchise and then put one of their franchises right down the street from you?
You could. The protection, so every franchise is different. Some of them you can buy, like, for example, Crumble Cookie. You could, when they were starting, you could buy the entire state of Colorado.
Okay.
And buy it out.
Whoa.
But for Teriyaki Madness, they give you I think it's a 5-mile perimeter, which really it's about, a populace.
Right.
You need certain populace to support a store. So you get a 5-mile radius that you're protected. But other than that, that's really all you need, because if you look at some of they're called quick service restaurants. You look at the Qdobas and the Chipotle, how close are they? Some of them are pretty close.
Right. Yeah.
You see them around, and it only helps grow the business when you start seeing more of them.
Yeah. So Qdoba is another one that I think, so I didn't come out because also I think Bobby and the kids came out and you all went to like Estes Park or something, I think at one point, and I couldn't make that trip.
Yes, they all went up to Estes, that's right.
Yeah, because that's when they came back and they kept talking about this Qdoba restaurant. And I go, well, first of all, I don't think you're pronouncing that correctly. And then I was like, never heard of it. And now we do. I know we have at least one here. So, yeah. The one that I'm waiting to come to Kansas City is actually Chiba Hut. It's the drug that I tried is actually a sub shop in Denver.
It's a great sub shop.
It is. It is my favorite. I wrote a glowing review of that place, and I actually wrote more of the review about the like 40-year-old guy that was on a BMX bike that gave us the suggestion for Chiba Hut, but it is an amazing sub shop. So all of their stuff, every sandwich is based on it or named after a strain of weed. So none of it is THC infused or anything. It's just like you have AK-47 or OG Kush, or so every sandwich is related that way. But
Gotcha.
Yeah. So my problem is, and you're very well aware of this, is my palate.
One problem?
One of my many problems is that my palate can't take like things like what people would think is normal. Like when you said noodles, like I'm not a rice person. What are you doing? Are you making fun of my hands?
I am. You give me such a hard time over how much I use my hands when I talk. And this,
Oh my God.
I've been holding this in for like 30 minutes.
Because
you were going like this earlier and you had your hands everywhere. And I was like, you do it too.
Wow. Jeez. I'm telling you, Tiiiim.
Just a little behind the scenes arguments we have.
Yeah, I know. I did. Wow. I'm going to have my hands to the side now.
Okay. So are you saying you hate it when I use my hands? So I should stop using them?
My wife may listen to this, so I'm not going to mention your hands. Oh, hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
Boom. Come on now. So what's the best part about being a franchise owner at Teriyaki Madness?
I think the best part, I mean, I love the couple of things about it. The freedom I have, but I have a ton of teenage employees, a ton of them, and I honestly I love to mentor the kids and help them become better and more productive parts of society. I love it, and that's the biggest thing I do is these kids. I talk to them. They all have my cell phone. I may not be working in the store, but they can call me if they need something. That's my big thing is I love growing and being a part of that and mentoring and helping these people become better, more productive parts of our society.
So how has it been? There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the news that talks about how businesses can't fill jobs. And a couple of the places around here, there's a couple of McDonald's which they don't even open their dining room anymore. It's drive-through only because they say they can't find. I don't know if I believe it or not. So I was going to ask you, as a small business owner, are you able to find qualified candidates?
That was if I came up with one question to ask him, that was going to be my
Oh,
question. Was
dang
about
it.
like, well, no, I'm just saying like, this is a very important question because it's such a topic right now of, labor and like the younger ages and people saying none of them want to work. But is it because they're managed by people that aren't carrying mentors to them or, that whole subject. So I second the question, TM.
So yes, it depends where we. So my Firestone store had no problem finding employees because we've created a culture within it that I'm sitting on right now, probably 15 to 18 apps, teenagers who want to work for us because we've created that here.
Right.
Whereas I'm helping a friend down in South Denver redo his store, get it back up to speed. And man, I can't find people that want to work, that want to show up to work on time. That it's just, I think it's the culture that you breed. And once you begin to breed that culture in the store, you'll start getting friends and then people will talk and they know, hey, this is where my kid can go work.
What's
This
the
is
primary
what
ingredient?
can happen.
What do you feel like is the primary ingredient for? I just made a pun, didn't I, on the fact that we're talking about a food place.
Right.
What do you think is the biggest piece of that culture that would draw somebody? Because most of them seem, or at least the talk is that, they're only concerned about getting paid more or whatever. So what are either the incentives or the atmosphere that you're providing that would be attractive to them over other places? Why you wouldn't have the same trouble that your friend has getting people in and keeping them there?
I think the big thing especially with the kids, is respect. You're teaching them, you respect them. Yes, they're teenagers. I mean, come on, they're kids. So they still need to have a life. They need to be able to go out and enjoy their high school time. They need to go to proms. They need to go to homecomings. They need to be able to go do these things. So you respect goes both ways. They're learning to respect the boss, but you're respecting them and what they want to do. So, for example, you have a kid that calls me, hey, Tim, I can't come to work, or that's my manager, I can't make it in tonight. I'm behind on my schoolwork. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Not 5 minutes before your shift starts, but we teach them to let us know early in the day, maybe the day before, that they're realizing that you're behind. So that just goes to being a good employee. And you go work at a McDonald's, you're just another cog in the wheel, I think.
And
well, if you're only afraid of the immediate consequence, then you're going to start lying or you're going to be afraid to say anything. But if they know that they'll be met with some understanding, then they won't be so afraid to come to you with the issues sooner. But also, do you think that are you keeping a little bit of an extra, like an extra few, like call-in people or just extra staff to where your resources aren't limited when somebody calls in that you're like, well, who the hell can we call? Who do we have? You have extra people that can fill in?
I have a couple of kids on staff right now. 2 of them play basketball. It's basketball season. They work maybe 1 day a week right now. I have another one that travels with hockey. That's a club hockey player. So during hockey season, he only works 1 day a week. But you have those and let them work around it. Everybody has something going on. So that, number 2, I feed them. I give them free food. They love that. They get discounted food. So when they're out of school, they can come in and spend way less with us than they would with going to McDonald's or wherever they eat at our store. So just always, and they make good money. I mean, let's be realistic. I have teenagers that are making, darn near $20 an hour.
Is that do they work hourly, or is that tips included, or
That's hourly and tips.
hourly and tips?
So, a lot of, when you go into these places and they have the tip selection of, 10%, or
Right.
you're going to give them a couple of bucks. Most places will pool those tips through the week,
Right.
and they will distribute them evenly through the employees. And
Right.
that's just a little extra incentive for those, especially the kids. We pay every week. On Mondays, they get cash tips. So we divvy them out on Mondays, and they get them reported on their paychecks on Fridays.
See, and I
And they
think
get paid twice a week.
when you explain the way that you treat them, that's why you and your stores don't have trouble finding employees. It made me kind of laugh while you were talking about respecting the employees and, understanding that these are high school kids, is that when we went on our cruise, Morgan was working at, I won't name them, at a clothing store, a national clothing store. And so we were going to be gone over Christmas, I think the cruise left on the 15th or the 16th of December, and then through January 2nd or 3rd. And so we were going to be gone up through, and there was a policy at their store was you couldn't take any time off. And they told her, they go, well, if you decide to go on this cruise, you will no longer have a job here. And I just always thought that was funny, because what would they expect she was 17, I forget, 16, 17, 18, somewhere that neighborhood, 16, 17. What are they going to say? Oh gosh, hey mom, dad, I gotta stay here, have fun on your cruise to Hawaii. I gotta work my part-time job. So I think that the respect that you give the employees, and even with what Catherine was asking, I think it does, and you mentioned this, word of mouth, that you'll get good employees that will come in and they will cover other people's shifts because of the culture that you've created there. And
you don't have to be a psychology major to be like a good manager, which I think.
But sometimes people forget.
I know there's I don't think the problem. I think that there's plenty of kids, and it probably depends on where you live. There's certainly like the neighborhoods that are more affluent, and then maybe they would have some issues with that. And then there's other areas where I think kids want to work, but it does depend on the way they're treated. And we can either still come down on the kids and be like, they're too sensitive, or you could just say, look, like, how does any human want to be treated? Well, we want to have a little bit of understanding, a little bit of leeway. Like, you can still have boundaries without just taking away any of their freedom, So, which is why I think parents need licenses. Let's go back to that too. Like, I mean, it's all the same.
You lit up on that one, didn't you?
It's all the same idea. Well, I mean, I come from a very restrictive upbringing,
right?
And I think that if it would have been a little more balanced, I probably would have made some better decisions when I was little. Like, the kids become rebellious when there's, unreasonably stringent
rules,
things going,
guidelines.
rules, or like there's just no balance. And so, and I'm thinking of, and I won't name them either, even though it's a good thing I'm about to say. But I mean, I worked for it wasn't fast food, but similar, just different type of food to what you're managing, Tim. And I was there when I was 19, and I had a really great experience. And actually, I think I learned a lot that took me into the actual careers that I had later, in just learning a good style of both management plus work ethic as an employee. And I called in plenty of times as a 19-year-old, and I was partying a little bit, and sometimes I called in over stupid stuff. But instead of my manager making threats back, they would, obviously they weren't going to do it every time, but early on, the first couple times you call in, they set the expectation. You got to set the expectation, but the expectation has to be a little bit reasonable. So, okay, you're not coming in it's not a problem this time. I think I have someone that can cover you, which, okay, they're appropriately staffing as well. So they have people they can call on. So the pressure is a little off, which is smart. But then they set the expectation of, next time this comes up, it would be helpful if you let us know sooner. So they're not saying it's not okay that I called in, but they're telling me you'll make it easier on everyone if you do it sooner. And it's like, it's all in the kind of delivery. And I don't feel like they ever really disrespected me, even though I disrespected them by being hungover on it.
Well, and I think that's
Thursday.
what Tim's done is build that respect. Now, do you think that do you think some of the problems of the South Denver store that you're helping restaff, do you think some of the problems of finding good staff at this point were they an existing business that may have gotten a bad name? I mean, for the employees that work there do you think that could be part of it? Because it sounds like you have a good name. It sounds like
it's the area.
You just think it's the area?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's
kid. This is a great story though. This is the epitome of that area of more affluent areas. You know, I talked to this young girl. I said, "Hey, you're looking for a job?" She goes, "No, I don't need to work. My mom just gives me money." You should have seen the look on her mother's face.
But yet they'll continue to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. And I have an interview with a 15-year-old tomorrow, and the number that I called to set up the interview was his mother's. I talked to his mother. She's like, "Oh no, we'll have him there. He's so excited to be able to talk to somebody and figure this out." So again, it goes back to having a license to parent.
Right.
You set those expectations. I treat these kids, you have a bunch of them with you through high school. They go off to college. I have the college talk about, hey guys, it may have been a little stricter at home, but you need to be smart about your freshman year. I understand you have some freedom, but just be smart. If you need something, call me. I'm going to tell them the exact same thing their parents would.
Or just recognizing them as independent individuals from their parents.
Exactly. So, and we're here to support and help them be better. And sure enough, I have I have 3 people for Christmas break that came back from college and are working for me during Christmas break.
Yeah. I mean, and that's yeah. I mean, and that's all. I was thinking as you're telling this story, as you're a mentor to these young people, is that when I started working, I worked at a video store selling video equipment back in the late 80s, like when I'd come home from school, and then I did it full time afterwards. And the gentleman that I worked, it was a family business, not my own family. But it had that tight knit, it had issues just like everything else, but everyone treated everyone with respect. And so I understand. And so I was thinking about that because his name was Jack, the owner of that company. And I was thinking, I still feel fondly of Jack. Jack's around 90 years old now and lives in the villages down in Florida. So, but it's weird because here I am, 40 years later, 35 years later, whatever it's been. And he made such an impact on my life. I know that you get gratification out of helping these young people learn a skill, a work habit, a work ethic, whatever. Does that ever freak you out that you're like, oh man, these people may remember me in 40 years?
No, but the way you just said that actually made me smile to think, you know what? I hope these kids do come back and think about that. If I could have 1 or 2 or 3 or, anybody that comes back and says, I think fondly of Tim. He's probably 90 years old now, living down in the, on a beach somewhere.
Right.
That would be, to me, that would be the biggest win ever.
Yeah. I mean, it is weird because when you were talking, that's how I was thinking of Jack. And then I started thinking, I hope he's okay because he's old and I don't ever get on Facebook. So I'm hoping he's still around this Christmas. I don't know, Jack, if you're out there, hey, happy Christmas. But it's, he made such an impact. And here's the thing also, and I bet you've run into this because I know you, even the little bit I know you, is I would talk to Jack about stuff that and his wife also was there at the business, but I would talk to them about things I wouldn't talk to my parents about.
Sure.
Do you have, I mean, because it sounds like you're that open to your employees also that hey, it doesn't matter. You call me, you talk to me, because ultimately a happy person makes for a good employee, a happy employee.
And makes for good decisions.
Right.
Again, I support them. I want to be here and be that, because some of them don't have, good home lives. Some of them have incredible home lives. Everybody has a different challenge, but, just to be another adult sounding board, is good for these guys. The kids need support, whether it's my own kids, whether it's another kid that may be having trouble. We've dealt with addiction and trying to help people there, and it's there's a lot of impact you can have in this business, believe it or not. It's not just a business.
So who was, can you think of anyone when you were young that made that impact that was like, because see, I keep thinking of Jack. Like, I mean, Jack taught me so much about sales. Like, hey, and I still reference him after 35 plus years. I mean, that was late 80s. So whatever that is, 34 years ago. But I mean, I still reference the way that he taught me to sell, the way that I would build rapport and interactions with others. Did you have someone like that, whether they knew it or not? Because I don't think I ever told Jack that. He may have realized it. But did you have anyone like that growing up?
Thinking back on it, I think I had maybe one or two of my coaches that I had that relationship with, playing basketball and would talk to or spend time with outside of. And then as far as selling, the ironic thing is one that really taught me to sell was Britt's older brother when I went to work for him in the car business.
Really?
He cultivated my personality in the sales business, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, in sales, that's, you find your own personality, your own groove. Catherine, did you have someone that mentored you? Did you?
Well, I was going back and I was thinking of when I was younger because it was so long ago.
Oh, shut up already.
I guess I can't think of anybody that in a way would have just been like so influential and life-changing, like that type of level that you're talking about. But I can think of the job that I mentioned earlier where I was giving the example of just, good management being you set the expectation, but
Right.
you're also understanding and it's all in the way that you communicate. If I just had one word to give that manager that I had then, she was so on the ball, but she was incredibly chill.
Okay, so you said the one word.
Sorry. Chill. Chill was the word.
Okay,
but
that
then
was the
I
word.
also didn't want to make her sound like she just would like let anything fly. Like she just had this natural ability. Like she got her shit done, but like as far as how she interacted with us, she was very, very chill. And I guess I feel like that influenced me more in a way of like how my management style would be these days. Not so much like it didn't change what I had going on in my life back then, maybe so much. Like I don't know. I don't think I have a nice little story.
I think
for
who
you
you
with
work
that,
for
but
now.
I think who I work for now. Well, you're talking about
I talked
younger
about the past.
years.
Yes.
I would say that who I work with now, I don't technically work for her. So as a real estate agent, I work for a brokerage. I'm a contract employee with them, but then I also have a subcontract with another real estate agent who kind of branded her own team there. So yes, she has a little bit of say in what I do, but I don't really, I never refer to working for her. I say I'm working with her. But she really, as a female in my 30s in an industry where there's very good and very bad ethics anyways, she really I feel like she just puts an emphasis on a lot of things that like I want to emulate. And so that has been very teaching for me. You know, if I don't want to work one day, it's not like she's up my ass like
Right.
I'm her employee, but she's very encouraging, very growth based. Just what can I do for you? And let's always do the right thing. And just really makes you want to be a good person and make a difference in the same way with other people. So I would say she's been the most influential, but probably because I'm in the years that are the most influential for me, which you would say would be younger years in a different context. But for me, I wasn't paying attention that way back then.
Right.
So
you had mentioned earlier that you're guiding young people at work, and then you're also doing some mentoring or talking to, like you're helping the current franchise, like in South Denver, and then you talked about how you'll do screening and talk to prospective franchisees. Do you feel like your position may be doing one or the other, or do you enjoy doing both? Do you like being in the store, or do you see yourself as more of a mentor to the other, like being able to take what you've done so successfully at your stores and be able to put that throughout Teriyaki Madness? Which one of those gives you more pleasure right now? Being a mentor to the young people or being a mentor to the other franchisees?
Wow, that's a tough one, because on a day-to-day, I get up and I look forward to going to the store and working, whether it's actually getting on the line and cooking or going in the back and doing the dishes and being that example, because I don't ask people to do something I won't do, whether it's scrubbing the toilet, doing the dishes. I had one guy say to me, I've never seen an owner or a boss doing dishes like you are. Why not?
Right.
That's what I think you need to lead by example. But
So you
when
have like
love
the
a brand
undercover
so much-
boss mentality every day, Tim.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know. But
Yeah. And I think
I love
so
this
many
brand.
people,
I love everything about it.
I think so many people go into it thinking that's what they're going to do. That they're going to, when I become the boss, I'm still going to do the dishes. I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to do that. But then they don't. And that's what separates someone like Tim apart from other owners, bosses, manager, whatever position they hold, is actually doing that. Because someone has to do it. I've never understood why bosses think they don't necessarily have to clean, like it's beneath them. I'm not going to clean the toilet. If it needs to be cleaned, it needs to be clean. But I think that's what sets Tim apart.
Well,
being
one
able
of
to
the
do
things
that.
that stuck out about what Tim said when he actually was going into investing in this franchise was that he had this dream of like the family legacy, and if it's more than just like, oh, I think I can make great money doing this and that's all I care about, then that's when doing those types of chores is like, you know, if your mentality is just how can I work the least to make the most amount of money, like a lot of employees, then
You pointed at me.
I
Okay.
used my hands. They were not towards Rodney, for the record, people. But
Bobby.
I'm just saying, if your mentality is one way and not the way that Tim's is, then yeah, completely different. But he's got in the back of his head that he takes so much pride in like what he is doing and creating, supporting, and then you mix in all the, like, not just the customers, but your employees with it, then of course he's gonna like enjoy doing more of those things, or at least be more willing to feel like he's doing good than it being just a task that puts him at the bottom and no, I'm too good for that. Like his mentality's going into the business was completely different than others.
Tim, when you went into the industry, and this may be something that you tell prospective franchisee, is there something that you anticipated, look forward to, dreaded, that was a complete 180 once you actually started in the industry? Was there something that was just shocking, like, oh, I never thought it'd be like this, or I never thought it'd be like this? And is there, I mean, do you tell anyone so they don't have false expectations? Maybe, I guess, would be the best way to say it.
Sure. I mean, the kids make fun of me. I come up with, they call them Timisms or whatever, but I don't think I came up with it. And I said it, I don't remember where I said it. I think I said it on the news for something. You don't know what you don't know until you don't know it. And I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know that I was going to go into this business and start working February 17th of 2020 and not take a day off till Easter Sunday, and then not be off another day until June 1st. And I was working open to close every day, 145 hours a week. I lost 40 pounds working. So I tell people how hard and what I put into it. And if you're not willing to put the time and the effort in, this isn't designed, a business is not designed, especially in your first one. Now, maybe you have, hundreds of other restaurants or hundreds of other franchises, and you have a system in place to manage it.
Right.
But for someone like me, you've got to be in the store. You've got to be there working, because how can I hold food quality or a standard of cleanliness if I've not been there and done it myself?
Right.
And that's what I really try to tell people. Hey, if you've got a system and you're a multi-unit franchisee and you've done multiple brands and you've done this before, you probably know exactly what you're doing. But I want to talk to the ones that are, hey, this is our life savings. We're getting ready to put it up. What do I need to know?
Right.
And that's the big thing is I went crazy on my first store. Now, when we opened the second store, I worked open to close for 1 week. And that was all I needed to do because I had my staff up and running.
Right.
So it got a little bit different. And I could see that, for people that do things differently. So to put the effort in, I try to scare people. I want them to know how hard I went at it. I have never, ever worked so hard in my life, yet had more reward and more fun doing it. I would come home in the first couple of weeks, 1:32 in the morning, and I would roll back out of the house by 6:37 the next morning.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Like it was nothing.
Yeah, and that's sometimes you get into that and it's not work. I mean, they always say that, and it's hard. The people that don't understand and aren't doing something that they love. And I get that, because sometimes that time just melts away, and like they always say, it doesn't seem like work. So what you just said is number one was difficult. Number two was less so. So within the next year or so, you're going to do number three instead of talking about smooth transition to number three. What would you like to see change the most between whatever's going on now? Is there something that you would like to see that would make your business more efficient, your traffic flow more efficient? Is there anything that you would like to see drastically change between where we are now and by the time you open your third location?
So the nice part is with my two GMs, Cameron and this gentleman, Dylan, we're really focusing on business and how can we grow our business, because the more we can get our name out there, the more it makes number three easier, and I can take them out and they can open the store.
So
I don't have to open the store.
How are you promoting the bit? I mean, are you doing community events, or just how do you make? I mean, I'm trying to think of, I guess I don't pay that much attention to like if a restaurant's doing something to promote themselves. So how would you, like I said, I don't know how long this Teriyaki Madness has been here in Kansas City. It literally could have opened up the day before I saw it, or it could have been open up for years and I had no idea. So what are you doing to say, look at us? What's that?
Overland Park. Yep.
Yeah.
Is that
105th
he's
Street.
been open year and something?
Yeah. Whoops. Man.
So
And I drive
crazy.
by that. I go through that parking lot all the time to go to the grocery store.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The funny thing is where our store is we're right on I-25, right at an exit.
Uh-huh.
Everybody can see it. And we still have people strolling in all the time that live in the community that have never been here. So we do mailers, digital advertising. You know, there's a company called Local Hero out of Boulder that really, you know how you're like on your Instagram, or I don't do a lot of social media, so I don't know.
Right.
But like on Instagram, and you get these little 5-second pop-up ads or whatever.
Right.
They geolocate that stuff and they do those. for
That's
us.
cool. Okay.
I feel like around here, and so like the suburban part of Kansas City on the southern side, it's really easy to kind of like fall into your patterns, and then you get sick of your patterns every once in a while, and you're like, what else is there? And so I said always, and then I went to never. I never throw away the little fold up like packages
Menus?
of like, no, like the coupons and stuff in
Oh,
the
okay.
mailers,
Right.
which I'm sure a lot of these people think are pointless to
Right.
invest in the mailers, but like that's usually the way that I find out about a new restaurant.
It is. Huh. I don't know.
As I'm like
We had a
flipping through
great
and I'm
mailer.
like, Teriyaki Madness, what is that? I mean, it's got a great name, so
Unle-
I'd be like, I probably would have been all over it. but
Unless it says
I don't think they're advertising.
unless it
here.
says hamburger in the title, I am not going. So, I mean, I wish. I really
So
do.
we'll take you to Hamburger Mary's here.
See, you know, I have talked about, I wish I could come to you and eat your food and give a glowing.
We have a Hamburger Mary's in Kansas City.
We do?
Yes.
See, you would be a great producer too. You're actually looking this stuff up.
It's a
Or
gay
you know
bar down in the crossroads.
that. Okay, I think that may be
There you
different.
go.
Well, I don't know. If they serve good burgers, I don't care.
It's amazing. And then you'll have like a drag queen
Serve it.
server. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's something for me to look forward to here in town. Okay. So let's see. What else you got going on in your life right now, Tim? Does it sound like it's all work?
It really is. It's the days don't stop. I get out of the stores and I work at home for a few hours, and not much else going. I got probably my goal is, you know, do this for no more than 10 years and turn it over to Dylan and Cameron and let them start running it and building it from there.
So now I'm going to have to talk to those two about this as well and see how they're doing with that. So I still got to talk to
And
Cameron.
Dylan, you got to talk to Dylan too separately, and don't, you know, he won't. Well, he'll probably listen to this. I kicked him out of the stores for a while. I made him go sell cars. I didn't make him. He wanted to go sell cars for a while,
Uh-huh.
and then he came back, and now he's the one that I saw doing this, not Cameron at all. And Cameron is just, man, he's taken the reins and he runs it like he owns it, and I'm so proud of that. And Dylan is just one of the hardest working people I've ever met. At 15 years old, Dylan was very fortunate during the pandemic to go to Hawaii for 36 days during lockdown and help a friend of ours open his store in Hawaii.
Huh. Poor
So-
guy.
At 17 years old, he got out of high school and he left for Hawaii for 36 days.
Yeah, must be nice. I think all of our kids
And
were
in fact-
here under one roof. Yay.
I know we both go, huh?
Yeah.
Like halfway, what a good
Yeah.
for him, and halfway like, fuck.
Yeah. I actually remember seeing those. I think that I remember seeing those posts on Instagram when Dylan went there, and I ignored them on purpose. I was like, I am not going to like someone that is in Hawaii during the pandemic. I think I do remember seeing that.
He's back there right now for 3 weeks, house sitting for some friends.
We need to start living, Rodney. We don't have a lot of life left, you know?
Well, I have probably less than you. I don't know that for sure, but I'm going to assume with my advanced
We
age
gotta
that you
start
keep
living,
pointing
man.
out. I know. Well, I know.
Time's
So
running out.
I know we gotta. At some point, we're gonna come out and see you. I know that we started talking about this. We started talking about this so long ago. We were gonna visit you and go to the lake. We were actually delaying our trip so that you could take us to the lake when it'd be warm enough. And now that time has passed. And have you gotten snow there yet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Ooh.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not nearly
But
what you guys just got clobbered with, because it missed the entire Denver area.
No, we didn't get
didn't get
anything
any of
here
that
in
stuff
Kansas
either.
City.
we have nothing. We just got a windy day in
Yeah,
the 30s today.
It was there was a chance, and then I don't know where it went. I don't pay attention
It
to these
just
people.
blew right over because it was very windy.
Ugh, it's horrible. Guy,
Super cold wind, but no snow.
of course, we're whining to someone that lives in Denver.
It's so windy today.
It hasn't been.
Well-
it gets windy.
You have a hot tub, is that right, Tiiiim?
Yes, we do.
Well,
Yep.
see?
We got a hot tub. It's
He's doing
104
better than
degrees, and
us.
it's
I know.
awesome.
Although I will say this now that we're going to talk about hot tubs real quick, is that Bobby and I were so desperate to sit in a hot tub last night. We went over to my
Oh,
mom's
no.
place at the retirement place at 10:30 at night. Put my mom in a wheelchair because she just had knee surgery. We wheeled her down, made her sit there while Bobby and I sat in the hot tub.
Wait, what retirement place has a freaking hot tub?
Tallgrass. They have an indoor pool.
Tallgrass has a
Yeah, indoor pool and a
Tallgrass
hot
would
tub.
be the one that has that, but holy shit, I've never heard that.
Yeah. So
Oh my
I'm going to go ahead, and I have not seen Tim's hot tub, but I will go and say there is a 100% chance that it is better than the hot tub I was in last night.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
at least I was in a hot tub last night.
Are you sure it was a hot tub and not one of those like walk-in bathtubs
I am
that
not.
they
I
bathe
am-
the old people in?
I am not 100% certain about anything that
Well,
happened.
did
at
it
a
look
hot
like
tub.
a bathtub or did it look like a hot tub?
I don't know. I don't know, but at least Tim has
Did
a
it have a ramp going in it?
no, but it did have a big chair that you could strap someone in, swing them around, and lower them down. I'm not kidding. And I felt bad because I looked over at my mom, who's in a wheelchair.
Oh shit.
She's on pain pills still, and she's like nodding off. And I feel so bad, but at the same time, I like totally wanted to fool around with Bobby in front of her.
I totally would have made somebody put me in that chair and lower me into the hot tub.
It was discussed.
Whew.
Yeah. So
I guess that chair probably has been peed in a lot.
Oh, why?
Maybe pooped in. Maybe pooped in.
Well, that means that it got transferred into the pool hot tub at some point.
Probably.
Oh no.
Is your skin extra dry today? From all the
Why?
chemicals.
Why
the
do you do?
chemicals.
Yeah, that's no, but I did.
I think you should
shower.
probably restrict yourself to like once a month there. Give some time for the pee and poop to.
Oh my
you know,
gosh. I would say the best
Get
way
off.
to say my shower was an aggressive shower last night when I got home.
Don't worry, Rodney. There's no peeing in my hot tub.
I cannot believe it was 10:30 when you went to go do that. It
I wasn't gonna go there.
closed.
I'm not gonna go there
They
when
don't
there's
close the hot tub there. They just have fucking hot tub parties at midnight there.
Okay,
at the
young-
retirement community.
Tim, I'm sorry that you have to hear this discussion between me and my young co-host, but people think that I live there. So that's when So literally Bobby and I went there once. I think Bobby was with me and we were
So
leaving.
they think Bobby's your daughter,
I
and you're
wouldn't, I wouldn't be
canoodling with her in
surprised.
the hot tub.
Gosh, why are you just making this so weird? I mean, it
Yeah,
was
no,
already
you know, the one
weird,
thing-
but now you're making it even more weird in a different direction.
I'm not making it weird. You're the one telling a story that sounds weird.
We were walking out. Maybe it was just me, but anyway, someone was walking in, a resident. They're like, "Oh, hi, are you a new resident here?" And I was like, "No." I mean, literally, I just turned old enough like 2.5 months ago that I could move in there. But come on. No one moves into an old folks home at 55. That's the minimum age.
They do if they really like hot tubs.
No, if they're 55 and really like hot tubs, they're smart like Tim and they have their own hot tub. Bobby and I, after last night, actually were on Amazon looking at inflatable hot tubs. But I do have a feeling that I would be electrocuted and that's how I die. Not a bad way to die, but I do believe that would be my death.
We were talking about a different way you were going to die last time.
I don't. We should ask Tim. I know Tim listened to the whole story.
It was...
the whole
shit,
episode.
What was it? It was...
I did.
Well, and then we talk about how you would die, but then we have to talk about what people have to do with you after you die, because we have to pose you somewhere like...
So let me
weird.
ask...
See, and you wonder why I think, like, you're the one with the weird stories.
I am.
So why are you saying that I'm making your stories weird?
No, you just make everything weird. I mean, like, not in a bad way, but also not in a good way, if that makes sense.
Well, everyone listening is probably like, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes total sense, man.
Makes sense
Where's
for
my
him.
bong
He's
at?
a weird guy.
Okay, now I got to jump back into Tim with the hot tub thing. So how do you do a hot tub outside when it's like below freezing? Like, I mean,
make sure your head's the only thing out of the hot tub.
Take the cover off the hot tub, get in the hot tub,
put the cover back on the hot tub.
and hold your drink just above the water.
So, no, I just see, I mean, I get it. You're just your head.
Your drink
That's
also needs to
still-
be whiskey at that point.
You're gonna have to wear a stocking cap, Rodney.
Oh,
Ugh.
yeah, he doesn't have a little blankie on his head.
I mean,
A hair
Yeah,
blankie.
I know that I've sat in
I'm
a
gonna
hot
back
tub.
it up. We need to back up one thing about the old folks home hot tub.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
I don't know if you thought about this one.
No, please don't.
Oh, what is
Issue
it?
at Old folks home. Number one issue at old folks home.
Rape.
That where
No, don't say STDs.
rape.
Don't.
it's run rampant.
It's rape
Nope, it's STDs.
because they rape each other.
Oh my God, no! Stop.
Tim,
Who knows what's
Tim,
going on in that
Tim,
hot tub
I don't
at
know if you
2
know this
a.m.
about me, but in my former career, I worked for a management company for senior living communities.
I did-
So
Ugh.
I heard about a lot of complaints there.
It was always so funny that when we would be walking down the hallway with my mom and like an old guy would be coming out of an apartment and my mom would just be like, well, that's not his apartment.
You know how you said like tall people can't have sex places? Well, you would think old people couldn't have sex in like a utility closet, but they do.
What? I don't know. Then if they're having sex in utility closets, they sure as shit is doing it in that hot tub. This is why we went
So
so
next
late.
time you try to take that mop out of the utility closet to clean up the water around the hot tub that you spilled, just think about where that mop stick has been.
Wow.
Man, I know, right? It's like I want her so badly to be part of this show, but at the same time, she scares me a little bit. I mean, not a lot of bit, but just a little bit.
Hey, I just know a lot of things,
What?
kind of like you.
Yeah, but I don't know
I know
those
different
things.
things.
You do.
You know historical, useless bits of information. I know like real life shit.
Yeah, like my useless information of knowing what the Constitution actually entails. That type
Who
of.
cares about that?
Oh yeah, my mistake. Oh my gosh, Tim's. Oh, why can't
See,
you be here
Tim
in the
knows
audience
the
with
same
me?
information as me.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if someone, I can't unhear that now, which means I can't unpicture that in my head.
Well, maybe next time you go visit mom, you should ask her who she's been hanging out with. Look
Well,
out for her a
here's the
little
thing.
more.
No. So here's the thing I heard this week. So my mom had knee replacement early this week.
Probably. Never mind.
She's on some pain medication, which seems to make her be more, not more chatty, because I don't think that's a thing. She's very chatty to begin with, more open about her chattiness. So someone's kid, like my age, that their parent lives in there, like their dad lives there. For some reason, my mom knows this
Do both
lady.
of them live in there?
No, so the lady who's like my age, the daughter was checking on my mom. I don't know
Who's
if she's
old enough to live in there, though?
she probably. Oh, so you're pointing out I'm old enough. Yes, Catherine, she was old enough to live in there, but she did not
But
live
they
in there.
both don't live in there. Okay.
No. But so she's checking on my mom. I get there, I'm sitting there not paying attention. And then all of a sudden I hear she goes, "Well, your dad is looking for someone to sleep with." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, no, don't tell. If someone told me that, because my dad passed away in April. And until this point, I had not thought really about that happening with my mom. But now it's, no, I don't. That's so, gosh. Why did we take this turn? We were talking about great cuisine.
It was because of you. Because you're the one that brought up going to a retirement community at 10:30 at night to get in a hot tub with a lift.
Although I will tell you that the lift does remind me why sex swings were invented. It has nothing to do with the kinkiness. It has to do with, like, literally at this juncture in my life, I'm not holding anyone up.
You just told yourself that like old people have had sex in the hot tub with this lift.
Oh my gosh, it just doesn't end. So, do you have a lift at your hot tub, Tim?
No.
Okay.
No.
And I don't want to.
How many seats are in your hot tub? Like, not how many at markets, but how many like actually comfortable people can you get in there?
You can fit 6 and then a 7th on the mustache.
And then the drowned person in the middle.
What?
There you go.
Yeah. So how big is it? I'm sorry, I probably
6.
talked over it. 6, see?
It's yeah. There's 4, the 4 corners, and then you probably put 2 more people in there.
So let me.
What if somebody tuned in right after we said hot tub and then only heard the question, how big is it again? And Tim said 6.
Okay, this isn't radio. I keep reminding you of that. People don't just tune into the middle.
You always say it during our podcast.
I know.
Doesn't he, Tim? Don't you always hear him be like, for
He
those
does.
of you that just tuned in?
It is funny because I know, but it is funny when and I can tell how busy Tim is at work because every once in a while I'll get a text from him that he'll listen, like when he's opening or cooking in the morning or something like that. He'll have the podcast on, which I think is funny and I think it's cool also. So I mean that's why, and that's one thing that I understand with Tim when he's talking about putting it, like when you talk about the number of hours that you put in. I think a lot of people that aren't involved with their passion see that and they're like, oh my God, how can you do that many hours? But if you really are enjoying what you do, you never look at a clock. You don't think about the hours. I mean, there's probably sometimes you do when you're putting in that many hours, but at the same time, you just enjoy it. And
When your feet are killing you, you look at the clock and think, oh God,
Yeah.
have I just been standing 14 hours?
Rodney could send you some nice shoes for that.
yeah, I can. I'm in the shoe industry now.
I think you sell some very comfortable shoes
we
these
need
days.
to talk, Rodney.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I have gotten to the point. I made the joke a couple days ago because I wanted to see. I was with the owner of the company I work for and his wife, and they're in their 60s. And we have a sex shop here called Cirilla's. And the only reason I mentioned that, we were talking about I had ordered 5 pairs of shoes. And so they go, well, that's a lot. And I wanted to make a joke, but I wanted to see how. So I go, well, I used to be in the golf industry and I bought a lot of golf stuff. I used to be in the photography industry, so I had a lot of photography stuff. And now that I'm in the shoe industry, I have a lot of shoe stuff. And then I paused and I go, it's a good thing I didn't get a job at Cirilla's. And that's all I said.
That is bold. Man.
They both laughed hysterically.
Nice.
Which I thought was funny because I mean, I would if I worked at Cirilla's. You have to
I feel
test
like
this
that
stuff.
would probably be like your grounds,
I don't know. I mean, I do like what I'm doing now. I will tell you, I understand what Tim means when he's talking about helping someone be the best that they can be, or be something that maybe they weren't aware that they could be. When I help someone, I mean, the time just melts away. Even though it's shoes and it sounds dumb and stuff, there are people that come in and they can barely walk in. And then when they put on shoes that actually fit them, because most people aren't wearing shoes that fit and do it, you can see it in their face. You can hear it in their voice. You can see it in their steps. And it makes the time melt away.
Well, I would say that where you were working when I first met you, like I'm usually one of those people that's just like, get the fuck away from me, like all salespeople,
Right?
Like immediately. And if you're walking up to me, I have very good like douchebag sensor in my body. So like, if I can tell,
Did
that
you
you're
just call me a douchebag?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying that with any salespeople, I usually can tell when they're walking up to me if I'm gonna be like, nope, or if I'm gonna be like, all right, you like, okay, I can talk to you for a second. I pretty much had no thought process with you. Like, one,
Thanks.
I couldn't see you coming from a mile away. You're very good at just like coming up at the right moment where I was like, oh, hey, oh, okay, sure. And then I never actually felt like you were just trying to sell me something.
I think I wasn't. I think I was like, I'm looking at Instagram here, and if you could let's wrap up your questions real quick, I can get back to sending my wife funny reels. Actually, that's what that's for another. We'll talk about that another time on reels and everything else. So, Tim, I wanted to say thanks for being on the show. I appreciate, and this is one thing about, I will say that my relationship with Tim is we can go months without talking to each other or converse, and we can pick up or communicate, and it's just like time. At least for me, it's like time wasn't there. And it's weird because there are some people, at least as I get older, where that's not the case. It's like you have uncomfortable silence because you don't know what to talk about. So I want to tell you, Tim, that I not only appreciate you being a guest on the show tonight or today or whenever you're listening to this, but I also want to say thanks for being... Which is always. But I want to say thanks to you for being who you are, because if I can feel that and can appreciate who you are, and just like, and the reason I thought about this with Catherine when she said that her and I first communicated, it's just that level of, you just feel like, oh, well, I can call and talk and there's no whatever. And so I just wanted to tell you that I have always appreciated that since we've met, and I just wanted you to know that as well.
Well, thank you. It's very true. I mean, we don't talk, and then it's easy.
It is
very easy,
and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you filling me in. I don't know anything about franchises, so it's nice to hear about this, and it's nice to know, and being able to answer like real questions about hiring. I mean, because you hear that on the news right now, no one can find anyone to work, and you're able to tell us what you're seeing actually out there at the stores and how it can be geographically. It can play an impact on that. So,
but also taking responsibility as a manager of your impact on that.
Yeah.
Not just blaming the generations.
Yeah, because you hear that a lot too. And it sounds like the kids that you have are good kids.
They're all great kids.
Yeah. I'm sorry I called them good.
Kids are great kids.
I know.
Just because they have a few issues doesn't mean they're not
great
kids.
That's the other thing I do is I refer to my employees. A lot of times they're not employees, they're my kids.
Right.
And they all know that they're my kids. And I tell them when I interview them, I say, I'm going to treat you like your parents do. You're going to get yelled at. You're going to get scolded, but you're going to get loved and built up.
Right.
And people, they take that, and I think they like it.
Yeah, I'm sure that they do. And that's what makes you successful. So thank you for being on.
You're pretty cool, Tim.
So sometime we'll get together. I was trying to get her to go on a road. Oh,
I wore a shirt for him today. It has it's from Breckenridge, and I know you don't live in Breck, but
I'm sorry. Did you just call it Breck?
Yeah.
She's cool. She knows that it's called Breck.
Oh my God,
dude.
Remember that thing you
It's
said
got
about being able to sense a
mountains.
douchebag earlier? Brick.
It's got mountains drawn on it, and it says the mountains are calling.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well,
Even though Longmont does.
I know.
Where do you actually live? In between your stores.
About 5 to 7 minutes from my store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which store?
Literally right off the Firestone store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right
You
off
guys have
25.
moved since we stayed with you, correct?
Yeah, not far away though.
Okay.
We only moved about 8 miles away. 8 miles closer to the away at the most. 5 miles at the most.
It's such a beautiful area that they're at. Yeah. I love Colorado. I mean, I don't like the cold at all. I'm a weenie when it comes to the cold, but Colorado, I'd put up for it. I mean, it's so beautiful where you're at. Okay, so we're going to have you on another time, and we're going to talk about non-work related stuff. I don't know what that will be, but I will put Catherine... I don't know what's going on with Catherine right now. I was going to say I will put Catherine to work so we can come up with something, but we will have a non-work related.
I was just making a devious face like I normally do.
Were there thoughts behind the devious face?
No, just like, ooh, that'll be fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
With the evil fingers, tapping together, like, ooh.
Whoa. Okay.
Do you put that on your soundboard? Ooh, like some kind of crazy laugh,
Yep. I will get right on that, Catherine.
Perfect. Can I say bye to Tim in my cool voice?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, you can go. Tim, you are so cool. And thank you so much for coming. You still do the thing with your face. I know I do. Oh my gosh. Tim, you should be happy that you're not here seeing this. I mean, it's creepy when you hear the voice and see the face. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, maybe we'll have to make a trip out. We'll have to make a trip out there and do it.
No, I have said I have made a case. All this travel, so I will come to you. Well, I don't know if Catherine would come or not, but at least Bobby and I will come out there. We'll have that. Of course, I've been saying that for a year. Oh, hold on, we already have dates. I'll talk to you off air because we have dates coming. Yeah, January for the UAF hockey game. So, because that would be awesome. So we'll talk about that because that would be amazing. And all this will travel out there. And what we could do is you and I could be on the mics together, and then we'll patch Catherine in.
I was going to say I can be on
the phone. Yeah, and that way we can use the voices, and you'll just be in your normal voice.
Oh, shit.
I know, right?
And you'll be in the hot tub.
I don't think that we
There
could.
you go.
I don't know a ton about electricity, but I'm gonna say that maybe we should not do the show from the hot tub. I would be all about that. Maybe we could do it from a
We can make it
swing,
work.
You could rig it up like
a swing that hovered just so that my feet.
Quit talking about swings, dude.
I
Robbie,
know.
we're not doing a swing or a lift chair. Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm out.
Nope. I will bring. We'll figure this out. Okay. So
See, I don't know if I can travel with Rodney yet. I just don't know what kind of things that they get into when they travel.
Yeah.
So.
It's probably wise that if you ever travel with us, that you don't do it in the same vehicle. I mean, you could if it was a plane, just do it you should be in first class and we'll be back in coach. You probably shouldn't be next to us. That is
I
probably
won't be
wise.
in first class, but I'll definitely have my own rental car.
Okay. That's probably wise of you. Okay. Tim, thank you so much for being on.
Swings.
I appreciate you as a
Thanks for
friend.
having me.
I appreciate you as a guest. It was wonderful talking to you.
So nice to meet you, Tim.
Oh my gosh.
Nice to meet you too, Miss Catherine.
Okay. So for everyone else, thank you so much for listening to the program. This has been another episode of Catherine and the Stone Genius. For everyone, thanks for listening. We'll talk to y'all again soon.